A lot of people in the collective will be having some awakenings in the middle of June. It's going to feel like you're getting glimpses of what enlightenment is actually like. Thank you so much for joining me for this Ascended Astrology Forecast and Ascension Energy Update. We're going to be taking a look at both zodiacs as we move forward. We're going to go day by day, looking at the different energies as they unfold to give you a better idea of how to work with these energies, what to plan for, and to basically not think you're crazy when these energies are happening or when you get hit with a sudden wave of massive energy or density. You'll know what to expect, you'll be prepared, and you will ride the wave like a pro. Let's go to the second week of June, starting with June 8th, Sunday. This is a huge day. June 8th is so energetically active. Yes, there will be some solar flare activity. What I'm hearing is there will be some M-class solar flares that are happening, which are relatively strong. So you're going to feel from the sun some activations coming in. And what I'm feeling is a lot of head stuff by the time we get toward the middle of June. Lots of upper chakra openings. They're actually showing me recalibrations to the physical brain and the optic nerve. Interesting. So you will feel that in your physical body rather than just that sensation in the outer part of your energy field, or sometimes when the third eye gets going and the crown gets going, it feels like buzzing or electrical energy or a pressure. You're going to feel it inside of your skull. So just be prepared for that. But this is an astrologically busy day on the ascended matrix side and the false matrix side. So let's start with the false matrix since it's more dense. We're going to be feeling that, or it's a little bit more visceral to us. Mercury is entering Cancer, and this is important because Mercury doesn't do very well in Cancer, and we have another planet, a very important planet that's about to enter Cancer right after that, and this is FM4, just to delineate, and the planet that will enter Cancer after that is Jupiter, and that's incredible. So we have a planet that doesn't do very well in Cancer going into that sign, and then the planet that is exalted, which means it performs at its highest possible performance in the sign of Cancer. And on Sunday, June 8th, Mercury will conjunct Jupiter. They're both going to come together in the sky in the same part of the zodiac. So we've got Mercury entering AM3 and Mercury entering FM4. It gets confusing. Mercury in the ascended matrix is more about communication from a third eye perspective. Oh, no wonder. That's making a lot of sense to me now with what's happening in the head, is that Mercury will be so activated by Jupiter as well. So this huge shift is going to cause an expansion to our belief systems. There's going to be ways in which we see things that are going to shift into a more emotional direction in the false matrix. Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, we're going to feel the pace slow down a little bit. It will feel like we're speaking from more irrational states. The right side of the brain will open. There's much more of a psychic nature that comes in. But we're not always speaking from a logical perspective. Our brains aren't working as logically. We're not keeping track of things, the details of things as much. Someone may send you a whole text message, and one part of it will trigger some sensitive part of you, and you won't even really take in the wording of it. You'll only feel the trigger or feel how it made you feel, and that's how Mercury in Cancer operates. Now, Mercury conjunct Jupiter is really exciting. It's like the lower mind and the higher mind coming together yet again. So there's going to be a lot of communication within the false matrix. You will have people who are really sure of themselves online, social media, around you, your family members. There's a lot of confidence and cockiness that can happen even within yourself when Mercury and Jupiter come together like that, especially in Cancer because we're speaking more from our emotional state. And, with a lot of triggers that will be happening at the time, we may find that the way in which people are communicating is almost like we're being spoken at rather than spoken to. And so I want you to be very careful with that as well. But I'm also hearing there's a major opening for new data banks to come in. Mercury entering Gemini in AM3 means that your higher self is going to be whispering to you more. You're going to have incredible dreams, they're telling me. Dreams about different lives, different timelines that you're operating in that are almost giving you breadcrumbs. Follow these breadcrumbs and pull this energy into your lifetime. So while in the false matrix there may be some communication issues, people really exaggerating or being braggadocious or being cocky, including yourself. And definitely online, I'm hearing, be mindful of, commenting back, or if people are commenting on your posts or have something to say about the work that you're doing, let it go. Everyone's going to feel like they're a guru. That is not the energy that you need to be participating in. What you need to be listening to as an ascended soul is that higher self that's going to be whispering more. Lots of meditation wants to happen at the beginning of the second week of June. And I don't just mean boring meditation where you just sit there. It can be active meditation, meditation with hertz frequencies, but you really want to strengthen that cord between you and the higher self, because there's going to be more density that starts to come in later in the year, and you want to strengthen that now so that you're more guided, they're showing me. So you can trust more of what the soul is whispering to you, because there's so much that's coming in right now. We as humans, they're showing me, are more soul infused than we have ever been. Forget Atlantis, forget Lemuria. We are more soul infused at this time than we've ever been on this planet. We may not be experiencing levels of peace the way they experienced in Lemuria, or unity, but that doesn't mean that they were ahead of us or more evolved. We are the most evolved version of this earth and the beings on this earth ever. I keep hearing the word enlightened. What do you all mean by that? A lot of people in the collective will be having some awakenings in the middle of June. It's going to feel like you're getting glimpses of what enlightenment is actually like. And if we're not careful, and if we're operating too much from our false matrix self, we will take that as sort of a spiritual superiority. Jupiter in the false matrix or traditional astrology can definitely be kind of a superior guru, know-it-all kind of energy, very cocky. Also on June 8th, Venus is going to enter Aries. Now I know you're thinking, I thought it just entered Taurus. We're talking about the false matrix Taurus sign, FM2. Venus will enter Taurus, FM2, on June 6th. But on June 8th, Venus will actually enter the constellation of Aries. Remember, the ascended matrix is about 24 degrees behind the false matrix zodiac because of the precession of the equinoxes. And you can handle all this information. I know it's lots of words, but you can handle it as I tap into this Venus in AM1 Aries energy. So this ascended Aries energy. It feels like we're going to feel led. It feels like the time when I was a few months after I went through Kundalini awakening, I was really depressed. I was so suicidal. And I remember waking up one day and I just felt better. And it was pretty early in the morning, and I felt something pulling me with a string. And I know that was my future self. I know it was my higher self now. I didn't really understand that at the time, but it felt like something was just making it effortless for me to get up and do the things that I need to do and go to the places I need to go. And so there will be a lot more movement that's happening. Oh, there's a major creativity. They're showing me this month is all about creation in many different ways. Opening to the new timelines, Uranus. Opening your belief systems to even allow these things in, because remember, beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking, and they are the guardians of what you're allowing into your life is your beliefs. And this Venus and Aries AM1 energy is like a fresh start to your connection to what you want to create from the higher self and the higher mind. Lots of service wants to happen, they're showing me. Please understand that serving self in 5D is serving the other. So it's okay to give to yourself quite a bit this month. With Venus and Taurus, and then Venus entering Aries, one is false matrix, one is ascended matrix. But again, it's about taking pleasure doing the things that you want, filling your cup up so that you can be of service to others. Because many of you have been running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to find clients, trying to find people to do healing work on, trying to be of service in some way, trying to do the right thing, when really sometimes you are leaving yourself empty, and there's a lot that needs to be restored. There's so much being cleared out of your energy bodies and your DNA. It's time to fill that back in. Let's go back to the false matrix for just a moment. In the tropical false matrix experience, Jupiter is going to leave behind Gemini, and enter FM4, which we call Cancer. And this is a big deal. Jupiter hasn't been in Cancer in almost 13 years. And so Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, and exaltation means that the planet lives out its highest expression. So we love Jupiter in Cancer energy. It's really, your belief systems are more about how things feel to you. It's good to feel good is what Jupiter in Cancer represents. It's also this beautiful, nurturing energy that wants to come in as it's like emotional wisdom increases, potential for quantum leaps and soul healing through lineage and land. Now, Jupiter will be in Cancer FM4 until June 30th, 2026. It will dip back into Gemini at some point later this year in 2025, and then it will go back into Cancer again at the beginning of 2026. And if you have any placements in Cancer, like I do, in the false matrix zodiac, I have a rising and Chiron and Cariclo and Vesta in Cancer. Since my rising sign is in Cancer, Jupiter is going to activate my 12th and my first house while it's in this sign. So this is going to be a major opening and expansion for me, for example, just to apply it to your chart as well, in my spiritual world, in my psychic nature, my dreams, the way in which I believe things and structure my beliefs is going to dissolve a little bit and allow for something to come in more from a cosmic nature. This is really beautiful. So look at your chart to see where you have Cancer in your chart. We all have Cancer in our chart somewhere, whether there's a planet activating it or not. And this is the area where you will be expanded, where new belief systems will form in your energy field, and where you will also co-create with others over the next year. Now, on the same day that Jupiter enters Cancer in the false matrix, Pallas is going to go retrograde. Now, for those of you who aren't as familiar with Pallas energy, this is also Athena, and it's the goddess that has the owl and the shield. She's the goddess of war, but Athena is not like Mars or Eris. It's not destructive. Athena or Pallas energy is very strategic. Pallas is part of the asteroid goddesses where Maldek once was. So Maldek was a planet that lived between Mars and Jupiter. Once Maldek was destroyed during the Orion Wars and at the beginning of the false matrix about 13,000 years ago, the planet was split into all these different parts that we now call the asteroid belt. And so Pallas has a lot of Virgo energy. It also has a little bit of Aquarius and Libra energy in it. It's the energy of pattern recognition. I have Pallas in Virgo, which is an excellent placement for astrologers because these people can spot patterns in the details of things, and I absolutely can. Pallas is also how you move through conflict with strategy and wisdom. It's a much more divine, feminine, higher octave of conflict energy, and it's a conflict resolution as well. And it uses that Virgo energy of planning and seeing how can we move through this without destruction or force. Pallas is in the sign of Aquarius, FM11, and in the sign of AM10 or Capricorn. So it's in the constellation of Capricorn, AM10, but in the false matrix, we say it's in Aquarius. So it's holding both of those energies on different planes. Pallas will be retrograde from June 9th to October 4th. We're going to feel the collective strategic mind move inward. Okay, this pulls the energy inward. Retrogrades are not bad. It's just revisiting. It's like a hanged man card. It's just asking and calling for a fresh or new perspective. And because this asteroid governs wisdom, pattern recognition, intuition as intelligence, and sort of a long-term vision in the collective, like on the world stage, we're going to see global leaders and communities sort of rethinking collective strategies and long-term or long-range plans. There will be deep breakthroughs in visionary leadership, especially in tech, social causes, because that's big Aquarius energy, anything to do with social justice or social causes or community efforts. Now there's also creative solutions that would normally feel impossible to us that become possible during that time. And there's sort of a rewiring. Pallas is about mental rewiring, and it's sort of a mental healing asteroid. It's not like Chiron, but it's a rewiring of how you receive and interpret these new downloads that are coming in, especially through group or community fields. There's a lone wolf energy that can happen. You're going to feel this collective desire for people to want to come together in the false matrix and get on the same page, but everyone's going to be rebelling against each other at the same time, which is actually going to cause some new birth to take place, some new energies and new timelines, people going in new directions and meeting with new groups after that. This may happen with you and your community as well. I love Pallas as a planet or a planetoid in our astrological chart. It really gives us a nuance, a different way of approaching the conflicts and the obstacles that we are creating for ourselves, actually, or attracting to ourselves. But on the ascended matrix side, although Pallas will be in Aquarius FM11, in the ascended matrix, it will be in the constellation of Capricorn. And this is really about reclaiming the architect within you, the builder within you of reality, where you're moving through the false matrix density with more wisdom, more clarity, using the higher mind, and also dreaming really big, not stopping until you create that which you're looking to create, and letting go of the ego stories, the desires that are coming from lower dimensional places or lower aspects of self that are in survival. This is about tapping in, revisiting, and tapping into what you really want to create and build from a soul perspective place. Now, as we move forward in the month to June 11th, for some reason, Spirit just started to show me clouds rolling in. It was really interesting. I'm like, what does this mean? There will be a layer of density that we move through for about 5 days, from around June 10th through June 15th. And this layer of density, okay. Before I go into the full moon energies, I'm getting a download right now that from June 10th to June 15th, the Earth herself will be releasing, will be releasing a layer of density, which will cause everything on the planet, including yourself, to release this layer of density as well. We're going to notice feelings of having, almost like having a stomach bug. You may feel like you need to throw up, nausea, the body actually purging something. There will be a purge that happens. A layer of density will be released at that time. This will also affect weather patterns on the planet, which is why they showed it to me as clouds rolling in. They're saying the Earth is calling for more balance. The Earth is trying to rebalance itself against the technology, against the pollution, against the programs, against the fracking, against the assault that is happening on the planet. So this will show up in you as well. Just be mindful of that in the middle of June. Now on June 11th, we will have a full moon, which is the sun opposite the moon. And so as the moon opposes the sun in Gemini, FM3, this will be the full moon in Sagittarius. Now talk about Jupiter being one of the stars of this month. The sign that rules Jupiter will come into the spotlight as the full moon on June 11th is in the sign of Sagittarius, FM9. And something that doesn't happen all the time, we get a full moon in Ophiuchus in the ascended matrix side. So while on the denser level, the full moon will be activating the false matrix archetype of Sagittarius, or we call FM9, the full moon will be blocking the light of the constellation coming from Ophiuchus. Now, Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer and Sagittarius is the archer. Both of them sort of hold a resurrection energy or an expansion energy, but Ophiuchus is very different than Sagittarius. And so on the false matrix side, we've got this full moon in Sagittarius really causing an inflammation to our subconscious programming. A lot of ego will come in. These fire signs hold a lot of ego. And if you have a lot of fire energy in your chart, this full moon will light you up. I'm hearing expect a lot of insomnia. It's okay to sleep throughout the day. You do not have to go totally into sleep to be getting rest during this time. It will feel like a very restless full moon, which will be working against a lot of that Venus and Taurus relaxing energy and a lot of that beautiful Jupiter energy that will be happening, that's causing us to feel like everything's going to be okay. There may be a spiritual crisis that happens because this will be coinciding with this huge shedding of energy that's happening on the planet during this time. Now, what this is telling me is because the full moon is blocking the light of the constellation of Ophiuchus, which is the serpent bearer. You know, this is the year of the snake, so Ophiuchus really comes to the surface this year and is ready to be reclaimed. And it's also the sign of the resurrected one. This is what really comes after Scorpio. Let's say in the ascended matrix, Scorpio rules death, but Ophiuchus rules resurrection. It's actually the bringing back of that light. Ophiuchus is a matrix disruptor energy. It's the 13th sign. It's the sign that doesn't belong there. So there's really, at that time, a matrix disrupting code. What they're showing me is like a hint, a golden nugget that wants to come through for you, but you will miss it if you're too busy feeling like, yes, I know it all, Sagittarius. I've got it all figured out, Sagittarius. If my ego doesn't feel like it has it all figured out, I'll just go somewhere new, Sagittarius. I'll just keep expanding and never stop and smell the roses. This is also a time to really get clear about your place as a matrix disruptor, about really getting clear. I'm hearing on soul mission coming into the body. Now, this could be completely blocked if you're not intentional around it. As we continue to move forward, I'm just feeling beliefs are going to be dissolving. They're going to be challenged. They're going to be restructured this month. They're going to be forced into new ways of being, which is absolutely what we want. But there's going to be a lot of resistance from your human to that because it is the beliefs that give us the foundations that we stand on. And it's okay to let it go. It's okay to feel like the earth is rumbling and cracking beneath your feet. Let some of these limiting beliefs go, because there are a lot of beliefs that you have that you don't feel are limiting that actually are, and you will feel that if you're brave enough to see the new world, see the new earth, and tap into the new timeline. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope the ascension and descension symptoms aren't too overwhelming, and again, we are here to support you. I'm sending you so much love.